What is going on, guys? Thanks for checking out this video, my sports Gematria. In this video, I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite games again, The Last of Us, about the actress who passed away. I don't know how to say her last name really. Annie Wersching. Wersching. She was the voice of Tess, the character Tess, in the video game. And it's one of my favorite video games of all time. And I've definitely been watching the Last of Us TV show series. I've watched all 3 episodes so far. But this was interesting when I posted this 3 days ago on Sunday. I thought it was interesting, so I'll just go over it with you guys. What I have here that I posted on my Patreon. Let's make it a little bit bigger. All right, Last of Us actress Annie Wersching dies. So the words actress Annie Wersching, again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing her last name correctly, but the words actress Annie Wersching sums to 126, has passed away passed away today, which was 3 days ago, which was the 126th day of the Hebrew civil year at the age of 45. And if you write out the number 45, it too sums to 126, as well as 117. And the day of this passing was also the 7th day of the 11th month for the Hebrew religious side of the calendar, written 7/11. So on the 126th day of the Hebrew civil, the 7th day of the 11th month of the Hebrew religious, actress Annie Wersching, which sums to 126, passes away at 45, which 45 sums to 126 and 117. 117 just a reflection of 7/11. It was the 126th day of the Hebrew civil, a day leaving 229 left in the Hebrew civil year. And just her name, Annie Wersching, sums to 229, like 229. Her name, Annie Wersching, sums to 76 and 77 as well. Here, I'll just show you guys what I'm talking about. Copy. Paste. 77, 76, 229. 149 is interesting as well. But her name, 76, 77, her name sums to 76, 77 as well. And the day of her death was the 7th day of the 5th month for the Hebrew civil side of the year, written 7/5. Do you see the pattern there? 75, 76, 77. It just kind of goes in a row. So it was the 126th day of the Hebrew civil year, the 7th day of the 5th month of the Hebrew civil calendar. 45 sums to 126 and 117, it being the 7th day of the 11th month of the Hebrew religious side. Her name sums to 229, it being a day leaving 229 left in the Hebrew civil year, the 126th day. And then also being the 7th day of the 5th month for the Hebrew civil year, her name sums to 76 and 77. 75, 76, 77. Kind of interesting pattern in a row there. She was the voice actress for the character Tess in the video game The Last of Us, a video game that has recently premiered on HBO as a TV show this month. Today, when I wrote this, Sunday, is the 3rd installment of the show, which is the day of this actress's death. Spoiler alert. The 2nd episode last Sunday, or 2 Sundays ago now at this point, featured the death of Tess's character, which also she dies in the video game as well. But episode 2 on HBO is what featured Tess's death. Interesting how the voice actress dies 1 week apart from the TV show character she does the voice for in the video game version on the same day the 3rd installment will premiere, which will premiere without Tess. And she died in real life, the voice actress, as well as in the TV show. So I thought that was an interesting synchronicity, I guess you can say. The word Tess, if you write it out, sums to 45 and 63, the video game character voice that she played. And she passes away 307 days since her 45th birthday. 307 mathematically is the 63rd prime number. Tess sums to 45 and 63. 307 days since her 45th birthday. 307 the 63rd prime. It would also be a distance of 1 month and 28 days to what would have been her next birthday, like 128, which is my bias number, 128, 182, 218, 812, etc., etc. If you guys don't know about my bias number, please see the my YouTube playlist called the Gabby Batito playlist. I have like just over 50 videos on that, a bunch of different topics. The Los Angeles Rams comes to 218, won the Super Bowl last year. The World Series this year between the Houston and Philadelphia ended on the 218th day of the Hebrew religious calendar. There's a lot of connections with this number pattern, 182, 128, 218, 812. So I thought it was interesting that it was 1 month and 28 days till what would have been her next birthday, because it just kind of hits on that same pattern I've been following for over a year now. But yeah, interesting timing of this. She passes away 1 week after her character dies in the show. And the numbers are interesting as well for the Hebrew calendar that lines up for it. The TV show, I actually like the TV show so far. I would say episode 3 is by far my favorite episode out of the 3 episodes so far. The first one hits pretty hard. The second one, Tessa's death in the second one didn't hit me as hard as it kind of did in the video game when I played the video game originally. Maybe it was because of the way they made her die. It just, I don't know. It was still good, but it's still kind of funny at the same time. I couldn't help but laugh a little bit. But number 3, episode 3 was, I don't know. That was kind of, it was very moving. I really enjoyed it. Even though the character, if you guys have seen it, Bill and Frank, even though it's different than in the video game. In the video game, we don't even see Frank until kind of the end of Bill's little story. And if you haven't played the video game, I won't spoil it for you, but it's different than the TV show. But I wasn't mad at the TV show. I was actually very moved by it. The story of it, how it was filmed, how they would play tricks on you with the time lapses. And the acting was really good. The cinematography was really good. It was some moving shit. Like, if you watch episode 3 and you're not moved by it, I have to assume that you're kind of psychotic. You're kind of a psychopath, because that shit is moving. That shit was heartbreaking. Like, if you don't have any emotions, then yeah, I can see why you wouldn't like it. But I also get it too because of the whole gay thing, the woke agenda. I know they kind of destroyed Part 2 video game because of that. I'm not really a big fan of the Part 2 game. But with that aside, if I just look at it objectively, it's such a moving story. Like, episode 3 can just be its own little movie if it wanted to be. It's crazy. That was pretty good. I'm kind of worried though for the next episodes, because they deviated from the game so much in episode 3. And I got to be honest, I'm not really a big fan of Ellie's character in the TV show. She's more of like kind of a bitch. She's more of a bitchy, bratty asshole than she was in the video game. And Joel, he seems a little bit more weaker character-wise than he did in the video game. And I'm kind of concerned that they might be, because they are going to do a season 2 and they're going to base it off of the part 2 of the video game. And I'm a little afraid that they're going to take this TV show opportunity for the TV show to warp their characters to fulfill part 2 a little bit better. And I don't know if I'm going to like that, because I don't really like part 2, honestly. I mean, it's still an interesting story, but nobody wants to see their favorite characters go out the way that they do, like they did in part 2. But anyway, I digress. Hopefully you find this interesting. Hopefully this is entertaining. These are just numbers. Don't read into it. Don't get mad. Don't hate me for it. They're just basic numbers, basic mathematics. Is there a conspiracy here? I don't know, maybe. But I'm not part of the end circle. You know, I'm not part of this, so I have no clue. Like, all I can do is just speculate off of just numbers and stuff. And that's just what it is at the end of the day. And you'll just have to make up your own mind if you want on what's really going on here. But I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate the support. And I'll see you guys in the next video.